Everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Cozy Christopher. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to 2022. Okay, and also welcome to CES 2022. And although it's going to be changing a little bit this year, depending on what happens with the health environment, however, companies like LG and Sony are already starting to put information out there, and they're trying to get the jump on each other as they do every single year. But today we're going to be discussing, or in this video particularly, we're going to be discussing the new Bravia XR announcement for Sony. So Sony is now going to be releasing a 8K mini LED television along with a 4K mini LED television. Last year, Sony released the Bravia XR series, if you will, and partnered that with the cognitive XR processor. Basically, this means that the televisions now try to depict the picture based on what we hear and see as humans, no longer what the panel technology is capable of. The new cognitive XR processor is supposed to fix a problem that a lot of televisions have, which is processing picture in dark scenes, if you will. And so a lot of times when there's a dark scene, everything is crushed. You can't really see the specular highlights, and it's very hard to determine details in a scene where it's low light setting. So the cognitive XR processor is supposed to help with displaying that type of content. And so if you like content that has that dark look, that dark scene, your horror, your action, your different things, genres like that, then this television is supposed to be a great fit. When it comes to sound and spatial audio, Sony has basically, killed it this past year or not. I don't know if you've seen the new HT-A9 surround sound 4-speaker system that they've been sharing with reviewers, and it's been on sale for a while now. A little under $2,000, I believe, is the price, where somewhere around there. That small system has basically been able to replace your $10,000 surround sound systems, and of course there's a lot of leadway in the middle of there, but what it does is it creates a spatial audio environment and allows it to simulate sounds behind, to the side, above, etc. around you, and creating a fully cinematic experience with a very, very, very small footprint. I'm actually considering purchasing this myself as I finish my basement upgrade here this spring, or whatnot, as I finish out my basement and create my movie theater area. But with that being said, Sony has kind of led this in recent years as far as spatial audio. And so in your conventional TV, as they mentioned, the speaker system is usually at the bottom and it points the audio down. Your LG OLEDs kind of have that curved front stand to push that sound down and out to you. And some televisions still have their speakers on the back, and so the subwoofers or mids will kind of point to the back, and then like some of the sound will come out the bottom. Your Samsungs have that bezel for their higher end televisions where the sound will come out the sides, but Sony has the system so that the sound actually comes out directly the front of the screen there, allowing for you to hear that audio directly through the screen. And so I'm thinking of my gaming setup that I just built recently around my Hisense. If the sound was coming directly out at me towards my face or towards you as a user or listener, then you would not have to necessarily have a sound bar right away. Now, sound bars and surround systems are always going to be better than what comes out of a television, but Sony, with their spatial audio and having that transparent screen, if you will, or as Sony calls it, the acoustic multi-audio, it allows that sound to come directly out of the screen and really create that Atmos-like environment from a soundstage standpoint without having to have an extra surround sound system or Dolby Atmos sound system immediately. Sony also announced kind of a partnership between Netflix and Sony Bravia called the Netflix Adaptive Calibrated Mode. And the content that is created is supposed to play the way that the content creators meant for it to be. So when you think about color, picture accuracy and motion moving and all that good stuff, it's supposed to play that way. But however, they increased that partnership around environment, if you will. And so Along with the cognitive XR processor, this now allows for the picture to change based on the environment that you're in, whether it's a bright room, a dark room, and as the day changes. So if you start a movie while it's light out and then all of a sudden the room becomes darker, the picture adjusts so that it still portrays itself the best way possible based on how the content creators meant for it to be. And it's doing this with the integrated Bravia sensors that are built into the front of the television, and it gives, again, more control over the picture from the AI processor. So now we're getting into the exciting portion for most of you that follow my channel, is the gaming aspects of this new television. Now, we all know that Sony has a history recently of promising and not producing when it comes to the gaming world, if you will. And so you still have some televisions that have been promised firmware updates to increase gaming capabilities for those particular televisions, and people have went out and bought them brand new without these capabilities and still have yet to receive that firmware update. Now, the Z9K and the X95K are supposed to have from the jump HDMI 2.1 that allows 4K 120 gaming, along with auto low latency mode and VRR from the start. And so this is not promised as a firmware update, but they're supposed to have this day one. In partnership, if you have the Bravia cam, the new Bravia cam, the spatial audio will also work along with the gaming platform, allowing the spatial audio to be redesigned and re-centered as you move about the room. That is pretty super interesting and cool how they can do that, again, with software and cognitive XR processing. However, we are still to see if those gaming features will arrive day one on the television as promised in the new announcement, or if this will be another firmware future update type thing. So more to come on that. And moving into the Sony Bravia cam, as mentioned twice now, the new Sony Bravia cam is an added product that goes on the top of the television now that allows for the synchronization of those different functions, if you will, whether it's the gaming function, whether it is the gestures and being able to control your television by hand movement, and or the new Google platform that they use to manage their smart television functions, and then being able to use that camera along with certain applications that you can download. They mentioned fitness, and they mentioned video conferencing and different things like that. But that camera is going to now be kind of like an added feature that will allow you to utilize the television in more ways, and which takes us, I guess, into the next segment, if you will. So the Sony Bravia cam is also going to be able to read the ambient lighting in the room, as well as know if someone is watching or not watching the television, to auto power off or dim the display and different things like that. And it will be up to the user to decide if they want to use those features, if you will, I would assume. But that takes us into the next section, which is going to be Sony's continued efforts to be responsible as a manufacturer and be responsible with the environment as they continue to create these different products that use a lot of the natural resources, and then the back end of that and what using those natural resources does to the environment and the world. And so Sony is now starting to use their own recycled plastics, if you will, to build all of their televisions going forward, which is an amazing addition to a very, very high class product line, if you will. I just hope that they don't push those costs onto the consumer, if you will, as we all know that Sony brands is the highest, most expensive consumer level television, if you will. But I am excited that they're going to be taking more responsibility into the environment. So what are your thoughts on the new Sony Z9K and X95K respectively, if you will? One's an 8K, comes in 75 and 85 inch variants, and then the X95K is a 65 inch, 75 inch, and 85 inch 4K variant, if you will, that promises the same colors as the OLED, which is going to be hard to see, although it is Mini LED technology. They also, just a brief mention of the A90K 42-inch and 48-inch OLED televisions. Sony released their 48-inch OLED television 2 years ago with the CX from the LG, using that same display panel from LG displays. However, it did not have any of the gaming features, and so it kind of quickly fell to the wayside, and people haven't really mentioned it since then. I will say, in Sony's defense, a lot of people have been rightfully so negative about the gaming aspects, as they did promise something and did not deliver it so far. However, Sony has always been focused on the cinematic appeal of the entertainment environment. Keep in mind that Sony PlayStation and Sony Television are two separate entities within the Sony umbrella, and though one is 100% gaming when the Sony PlayStation world, Sony Television more often than not will have the best quality picture and the best processor in their LED televisions. OLED is kind of, again, goes back and forth between them and LG. As you know, I am a fan of the LG OLED. Sony has done an amazing job when it comes to processing and getting a lot of high quality out of all of their levels of televisions, not just the top televisions. So in my opinion, you are safe that if you are focusing on watching movies and consuming just regular entertainment and content, you can grab a Sony television at any of the levels and be happy with the purchase. Whereas when it comes to other manufacturers, you kind of have to pick the television based on what you're going to do with that television. So that's it for me today. Let me know all of your thoughts and comments in the section below. Looking forward to interacting with you on some of these CES. I won't be able to follow everything at CES, but some of the ones that kind of hit near and dear to my channel, I'm looking forward to having great conversations around. So as always, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay cozy in that crazy world, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.